My dogs are currently outside, so I'm gonna film this in the living room today so that I can keep an eye on them. But hey guys, it's Holly. So the other day I asked you on my Instagram story if you had any questions for me, because I feel like it had been a while and there was a lot of really good questions, so much so that I did actually answer some on my Instagram story, but I saved the best ones for this video. But before I answer them, I feel like I should make this feel like a little more homely. Is that better now that we have a Lego set in the frame? First up, very straight to the point, going to Brick Fair, Virginia. Not this year. After BrickWatch Chicago, I went and looked up how much it would cost me to fly to Washington for Brick Fair, Virginia, and it was looking like $5,000, so that was an instant nope. That is far too much. Plus, I also feel like one international convention for the year is probably enough for me. I do really want to go at some point, but I feel like it's just going to be a logistical nightmare for me to get there, but I'm very jealous of everyone going, and I hope you all have a fantastic time. I want to see everything. Do you have any plans on making your SigFig in reality? Well, funny you mentioned that, because technically she does actually exist. I can't actually remember how many of these are made. I think it might be like 100 or so. So, I mean, I've got quite a couple for myself. I've also got some to give away to my friends, and these are actually made in sort of collaboration with FatFigs. I'm not sure how these are going to be sold, whether they'll be on his Whatnot auctions or what, but they do exist and I do want to get them into the hands of all of you. I also can't remember how much these are going to go for, but they exist. I've got one. She's on my little shelf, and like this was done like really way back in like 2020 or something, when like the first SigFig design was done. So I mean, like if I was to update it these days, it probably would look a little bit different. However, I feel like I would still keep the pink track pants, so here she is. Once I get some more information on how these are actually gonna be sold, I will let you know. Yeah, I love it. What project are you most excited for that was revealed at San Diego Comic-Con? So I made a little TikTok sort of like ranting about this, but I feel overwhelmed by the Marvel Hall H panel. Like, it was ridiculous. Plus, we had the animation panel a couple of days before. Honestly, it's just gone to the point where I feel like we're getting too much content for Marvel all at once. And I mean, I've been very tired of the multiverse for quite a while now. It's something I brought up quite a bit on my Twitch streams, and I feel like Marvel's getting to a point where if you like miss like one show, you are going to be completely lost, which I'm personally not a huge fan of. Like, the rate that this is moving, for me, it feels too fast. I feel a little bit overwhelmed, and I feel like I'm just a bit fatigued of like Marvel content right now. That being said, I still do love it, and I still am very excited for the content that is coming. It's just gotten to a point where like I only just finished watching Miss Marvel recently. I probably even couldn't tell you what happened in Moon Knight. I feel like that just was an entire blur for me. I'm not even excited for She-Hulk, and that's in like 2 weeks. Like, there's so much content coming out that I can't even remember what's up next, when things are releasing. Like, it's a lot. As for what I'm excited for though, I'm very excited for the new Daredevil show. I watched that like before Spider-Man came out on Netflix, and it was fantastic. I'm really glad that Charlie Cox is coming back. I'm pretty sure the actor who plays Foggy Nelson's coming back as well as Vincent D something or other. I can't remember his last name, who of course he had his cameo in Hawkeye. Really excited for that. In terms of movies, I mean, Fantastic Four has always been one that I've been super hyped for. Same with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I feel like that would be really good. The rest of the movies though, for the most part, like I'm not overall like super hyped for. I think Avengers will be interesting, but at the same time, I'm just like, I'm a little bit tired. Also, Ant-Man and the Wasp, very excited for that one, but otherwise, like I'm not overall too excited and hyped for the TV shows. Of course, I'm gonna give Spider-Man Freshman Year a chance as well, since Spider-Man is my favorite character, but it's just a lot of content, and especially over the last like year, a lot of it has been underwhelming. I feel like the TV shows have, for the most part, have been really good, but the movies have been lacking, and now the TV shows have also been lacking just because everything is being produced back to back. I want to hold out on the hope that Marvel, you know, will fix itself out and get good again, but I'm starting to sort of lose a little bit of interest, which really hurts because I do love the universe and I do love the characters. Would you want to eventually collect all the Pirates of the Caribbean sets? Look, I would love to, but those sets are just far too expensive that I cannot justify it. The 2 pirate ships alone being over $1,000 each is insane. I feel like at this point, like originally I just thought, you know, maybe I'll get the Black Pearl and then get like majority of like the cool characters like Josh and Me Gibbs. I'd have like all of the Black Pearl crew, of course, all the Jack Sparrows, Barbossa, Elizabeth Swan, Will Turner, etc. But now I'm even looking at the Black Pearl and I'm like, I don't think I can spend that kind of money on that boat. It's beautiful and I love it and I really wanted it ever since it first got revealed. Even the Queen Anne's Revenge, honestly, I kind of wanted that one more when it came out. But now I'm just like, you know what? I think I'll just get the minifigures and call it a day. If you could only collect Lego Harry Potter or Star Wars, which would you choose? At this point, I mean, assuming that that question is saying from now on, which would I start to collect? Honestly, I think I'm gonna have to go with Star Wars, and there is a very good reason for that. At this point, according to Brickset, I own 79% of the entirety of the Lego Harry Potter theme. It's my favorite. I love it. I want to have every single set ever, but if I had to stop collecting it or it stopped, like I would be fine with that. I feel like I've got a really wide variety. I've got a lot of like different scenes from like pretty much everything, I feel like a lot of the older ones are like things that have been remade at this point, at least for me, and the stuff that I'm missing. So I don't feel like, besides stuff that hasn't been made from like the Deathly Hallows Part 1 or 2, that I'm missing anything. Whereas Star Wars, there's a lot that I don't have. The universe is a lot bigger, but also that universe is still expanding. Harry Potter, like, I mean, yeah, Fantastic Beasts exist, but like really, you've only got the 7 books and the 8 movies, and it's like that little world contained. It's not expanding, it's not continuing. So I feel like there's a lot more that Star Wars has to offer in terms of just like products and collecting wise. So for that reason, I would go Star Wars. All right, the dogs are inside. We can continue. So the next question is, it's like a 2-in-1. What merch do you plan to put on your website, and what inspired you to make a website? So I'll sort of start off with the second question, what inspired me to make a website? I mean, I just finished like studying web design. Now, admittedly, I'm using one of those like website builders instead of coding it in HTML, purely because, I mean, even though I've done like a whole course in it, it still does take me a very long time to do. I can do it, I can understand it, but it's just a lot easier, especially when doing an online store, which is something that I've always thought about doing. I just really wanted to make sure that like if I was gonna put stuff up, that it was stuff that I would personally use, enjoy, or like. And finally, I've been able to do that and work it all out. And it's been a project that I've sort of been working on the last couple of weeks, which is sort of why a lot of videos have been sort of patchy. Honestly, it's like taken over my life, so much so that I freaked out and felt overworked the other day. I also did buy HollyOnFilm.com recently, and now like have that domain name, which I'm really excited for, and I will like properly put that to use in the future and hopefully expand. And in terms of what I plan to put on the website, I've got a couple of designs. So starting off, there's the little Space Explorer stickers, which I think are really cute. There's the pink and the blue, and I might do a couple more colors. I'm not entirely sure, but more so, I really wanted to do like a bunch of like t-shirts, hoodies, and like sweatshirts, because that's personally stuff that like I'm really interested in. So I've got a couple of samples of like some embroidered stuff on its way to me at the moment, which I'm really excited for. And then recently I did get a sample of one of the t-shirts that I designed, which I really, really love. I'm really proud of. And this one in particular will be releasing on the 1st of August to sort of coincide with the release of the brand new Sanctum set. And then I also have a sort of Harry Potter themed one coming out, which again, I'll sort of tie it into the release of the Hogwarts Express when that happens. I had to do a lot of research and a lot of planning before I even sat down and actually like created these designs. And overall, I'm really proud of how they turned out, and I cannot wait for you to sort of see them all as they release in the future. If you want to check it out as well, I will leave a link in the description down below to the website. Genuinely, do you think they'll make new No Way Home sets? Look, honestly, no. I know there was a lot of talk about that last year, and even then I was like, kind of debating it. It was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get all of these sets in summertime. It's August, where are they? I mean, look, at this point, Marvel, like Legends, like the action figure series, they've released all of their designs, and you bet that I will be buying that Andrew Garfield one. And also Funko just released like the little pops from No Way Home at like, or not released them, but like revealed them at Comic-Con. Again, will be purchasing the Toby and Andrew pops. I'm not a huge pop person, but like I have to have them. So like if Lego was gonna do anything, it probably would have been revealed by now. But also it's like just judging it like the Spider-Man set leaks that we got, it's like says things like Venom. Like Venom had nothing to do with No Way Home. Maybe one of them could be a No Way Home set, and again, you sort of do what Marvel Legends and Funko did and just throw like Toby and Andrew in there. But at this point, I feel like Marvel is throwing out far too much content, and Lego only has a particular amount of sets they kind of want to make. Can you dogs be quiet. They only have a certain amount of sets that they typically make a year for Marvel, so I really don't think they're gonna be going back to anything, and it's such a shame because it would have been the perfect opportunity to do something, especially with the Infinity Saga. Like, I would have much preferred a No Way Home set to that Hall of Armor, so there we go. If you had to eliminate one movie from the MCU timeline, which would it be and why? I mean, assuming that like, I guess like none of the connections get like altered or anything. Firstly, the one that I would probably eliminate is Eternals. That movie was just so bland to me. I mean, it was a good refresher and it was something different, but overall, I have no desire to ever rewatch that film. It just flew right under the radar for me. Since you got the Queen Amidala fig, what is your next grail? So the next minifigure that I have in mind that I feel like is going to be a sort of like long project, like I'm on the hunt for, is Davy Jones. I remember like way back when, like spending like the amount of money I spent on Queen Amidala terrified me. And it still does, and I don't want to do it too often, but I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, I would rather pour more money into something I really want than buy like a ton of cheaper things just because it's cheaper. Like Davy Jones is a minifigure that I have wanted for years, similarly to Queen Amidala, but I think more so because I've cared more about Davy Jones longer than I have Queen Amidala. That being said, Queen Amidala is a much cooler minifigure. Davy Jones is at a similar price point, and that is really the next minifigure sort of that caliber that I really want to work towards. It makes sense. I mean, I want to have my Pirates of the Caribbean collection. Now my dogs are barking. I can't see myself getting him anytime soon because there's so many really cool sets that I want, and typically I only really tend to do stuff like that or buy retired sets when I feel like there's a down period in my collection, since I only really focus on the 3 themes and then 2 of them are sort of interchangeable depending on the quality of the set. Like Harry Potter, we have 2 waves a year, so there's a lot of down period for that. So as long as like Star Wars or Marvel is like kind of lacking, there's a lot of times in the year that I feel like instead of having money to put towards new purchases, I'll sort of lean towards retired sets and minifigures and getting stuff that I have missed out on and sort of trying to accumulate. At the present moment, I don't plan on buying the Razor Crest, or at least I don't plan on buying the Razor Crest with the intention of keeping it. So I feel like after the Hogwarts Express is done, pretty much that's me done for the year, besides maybe 1 or 2 Black Panther sets. So I feel like maybe in terms of like November, December, that's when I might start to look at Davy Jones and might start to plan to get him. I love this question. What Lego Star Wars set would you recommend as a present for my 19-year-old boyfriend? All right, so assuming that, you know, like a lot of, I feel like, teenagers and like young adults, you probably don't have that much space, assuming maybe you go to university or college, you're in a dorm room or something like that. I would definitely recommend one of these smaller sets just because it's going to be easier to display. There are some really, really good ones for sale right now. Firstly, if he doesn't have a 501st battle pack, it's really nice. It's a nice army builder. I feel like a lot of like males really like army building, so I'm sort of going in that direction. I also really love the AAT. I think the build's really cool. The minifigures are really sick. The Dark Trooper attack is another really great one, especially if he's really into the Mandalorian. Nice and small. I mean, Costco had them a while back. I don't think they still do now, at least in the US. If he was really into the Clone Wars as well, the Mandalorian Starfighter is a really good set. And the brand new Obi-Wan Kenobi Starfighter also looks killer, and I personally am very excited to get my hands on that one. What does your dream Lego room look like? Oh my gosh, I love talking about this because this is something that I've thought of for a very long time. Firstly, I loved when Brixie moved into his new house and he did that video, and it's literally just like him in his basement showing off all of the shelves around the room. That is like step 1. I would love to have just a wall of Billy bookcases. I love my Billy bookcase, especially how he did the wardrobes, the Oxburg. I love that. I want to be able to put the Hogwarts castle on a shelf like that. Like, are you kidding me? I love that. The second aspect I would want to add though is what my friend Josh from Josh Builds Stuff does, because he's got similarly like a wall of bookcases at the back where he's got a ton of stuff hung up, but he's got a table that sort of stands in the front that you can sit down at, you can stand at, and you can build. And then more importantly for me as well, when I'm filming videos, I could have a wall of sets behind me and a table in front that I can sort of like present and still have a lot of the stuff on display. That is my dream sort of Lego room layout. I'd also want like a ton of drawers, like the Plastic Architect with the Alex drawers, so that I could have like a ton of pieces. I know Tiago as well does a lot of things like that. It's sort of a combination of all 3 of those rooms. I mean, I'm not a type of person that wants to have a Lego city. I just feel like the whole idea of that on like a really widespread table, for me personally, I'm terrified of that idea. It just seems like a giant sort of like space taker, which is something that I don't want to deal with. Props to the people who do. They look really, really cool. We're really asking the important questions today. Who are your 3 favorite Mario Kart characters? I mean, for me, I've only really got 2, and that is Baby Daisy and Daisy. I don't know what it is. I think it's like from when I started playing like Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. Peach always annoyed me. So like Daisy to me being like a speedy character and a really good all-rounder, I just always picked her, and then that then translated into Mario Kart. I love Daisy. She's fantastic. Otherwise, if I'm not her, chances are I'll probably be Toad. How do you decide when to buy sets from LEGO certified stores or other retailers? So my thought process, especially now with the price rises happening on August 1st, what I'm personally am planning to do is I'm not gonna buy anything from the LEGO store unless it's something that is exclusive to LEGO, or for me at least, like I need a set on release day in order to make a review on it or to make content, which basically is the entire wave of Harry Potter. Besides that, maybe only 1 or 2 sets because I'm typically an impatient person. I plan on using up all of my VIP points very soon because again, I don't really order stuff from lego.com because by the time it gets here, it's not as good. Like I need to be able to go and buy things from the LEGO store from like a content and like work point of view, unless it's something like the Harry Potter promo where it was available online but not in store. So I really want to use up all of my VIP points and just get rid of that, and ideally not order from lego.com anymore, because just like the bricks and pieces are like ruined now. Like why wouldn't I just buy stuff off Bricklink? And then just the prices, I would much rather get it off Amazon or Kmart or from I'm Rick James Bricks, and one of those retailers that has stuff discounted, but also I would much rather support them. The only problem with that is that in Australia, often things will show up like 2 weeks after release, which is why I typically go towards the LEGO store, but I would wait. Like I would much rather have a look around, find out which retailer is the cheapest, find out which one has got a better rewards program, most of which are better than LEGO's, and buy from them. Do you ever get the desire to take down your current LEGO displays and start over? Absolutely. In fact, I recently did it, so let's go have a look. So recently I sort of like redid most of my shelf, starting off with this one here. At the moment we've got some Minions mixed in, and I've just sort of got like a couple of like smaller sets. I got rid of like a lot of my Disney stuff from here. Mos Eisley hasn't really changed, and then I swapped out my entire minifigure stand to get rid of like all of my Marvel figures, and now I've got a lot of Star Wars ones categorized by like movies and like not really in chronological order because like I didn't want to put my episode 1 ones at the top where I can't really see them as well. So I put the sequels at the back, and then as we sort of head to the front, we have the stuff that I like more. And then we head over to my favorite bookcase, which at the top we've got like good Harry Potter, and then we have 2 shelves of Harry Potter, which are really nice. I just need to like fill them out with like my members like SigFigs, which they're currently all in a pile here. We've also just got a shelf of random stuff because we've got Duplo Thomas. We have the trash compactor diorama, the custom Stormy, those Toy Story brick heads. Then we have my Hall of Armor, which is now out of space. We have the Training on Dagobah diorama. We have like a somewhat Marvel shelf, which kind of needs to be replaced but works right now, so I'm not really too mad. Then we have the dumping shelf, which basically houses sets that I don't want to get dusty because it's the only space that I feel like I can put things in them not get dusty. And then at the bottom is my modulars, which have like a bunch of like my friend's SigFigs in there, as well as like this DC Comics police building, which I'm a really big fan of, but you can't see it right now because I've got 2 storage containers that I need to fill up and drop off at the storage unit, topped off with my gunship, which just sits there because I don't really have space for it. The Daredevil MOC, where is it? Is it safe? It is safe. I do really want to finish this. I'm just stumped when it comes to the roof. I haven't put any progress in it, but it's still built and it is still like a project that I do want to finish one day. Do you have any MOCs in progress or any things planned? I have one, and that is a sort of like expansion on like the Ministry of Magic. Now for me and my MOC style, I'm really like into rebuilds at the moment, or like getting 2 of the same set and combining them. And that's exactly what I want to do with the Ministry of Magic. I had to buy it in order to get the promo, so I thought why not make a cool MOC out of it? So I've like built up the 2 towers at the moment, but I currently need to work out how to do like the roofs. I also really want to do the interiors and just sort of work out a way to combine them and make the set feel a little bit more substantial than the actual set itself. That's something I'll hopefully complete and post in August, otherwise it will probably be September, but that is my current next MOC project. But those are all of the questions for this month. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted one. There were some great ones and I had a great time going through them. So if you want to ask me one on a next one, be sure to follow me on there, as that's where I always go to ask you guys for questions. I'm super hyped for all of the August 1st stuff. However, like the releases are very scattered in Australia, so it will take me a while to get my hands on everything. But thanks for hanging out with me. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel down below. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later.